So here's the next part that not all of us are going to actually do, but it's part of the requirement for the assignment, and that's the awning that's supposed to go over top of the buses. So for me, I happen to have like a little bit. If you look at the top view, I have a little bit of space that I got to cover somehow and treat so that the buses are fully served, I guess, with coverage. So for me, what I want to do here is we took these quadrilateral forms and we folded them and we created the envelope of the building. But the objective that we worked on before was to actually have the triangulation folded pattern go over top of the buses. So in order to simulate that, I'm going to start by just creating a triangular surface that's aligned with the building itself. And so this is going to look very different for all of us, but on the forms layer, I'm just going to do a 3-point surface from here to here to here and hit enter. So that brings me to a point where, let me just get a little more intuitive here. It brings me to a point where I can then grab an edge like this and extrude it out over the buses, which I can then further manipulate to create a more interesting kind of form. So in the top view, I'm going to extrude curve, and I'm going to set a direction that just goes straight up, and I'm going to pull it out over top of the buses like this. Okay, so right now it's just kind of a boring little form. But I want to do something that's going to just kind of grow off of this and kind of go down toward the buses. You know, for whatever reason, I'm not actually designing this. I'm just creating some arbitrary logic set that speaks to the form. And so the ticket here is, you know, we're creating triangulated surfaces. And so if you're actually going to use triangulation, then you would want to draw lines instead of a plane. So by drawing a line, I can anchor it on the connection point there. And as long as you have near on, you'll be able to hover along the edge of the surface to create your next triangulated cut. And so I'm going to click to there. That was not far enough out, actually. Go from here to about there. And I'll split that. So I select this object to split, this object to split with, and now I have two separate surfaces from which I can do a rotate 3D. And I can grab, well actually, since I'm going to start off by playing with the first surface, which means I'm going to rotate them all. So rotate 3D, and I'm going to say from here to here. I'm going to tilt this one down a little bit. So let me look at it from the side. Kind of go down like that. Should work. Okay, yeah, then I'm going to go from here, say rotate 3D there to there, and then pull this one now up. Okay, so I'm going to go through a process now of just drawing lines and rotating to create a triangulated relationship across the undulation of this surface. So now I can split again, split this surface using that line, grab it, rotate 3D, go from the origin point to the axis point, go up to there, rotate it down. And I think I'll just do one more. There to there. And I'll split it once more, go from here, split it with the line, and then do a rotate 3D. From here to here. And this one I'm actually going to, again, rotate down. Okay, so what that created was this kind of transition. If I look at this up here in the top view, so I transitioned from a kind of quadrilateral sort of folded plane to a triangulated folded plane that grows off of my original building. So, in a sense, that's morphological, right? Because it kind of morphs from one system to another. Anyway, not getting too much into the design side of things, that is how you would kind of get through the design process intuitively in the software, right? So what I'm focusing on here or what I'm focusing on here, excuse me, what I am focusing on would be your approach to the software as you're designing, thinking through ideas. And so these intuitive ways of grabbing elements, modifying elements, rotating elements, splitting them, that's what we're trying to approach. So not all of you will have this kind of awning on the side of your building. Some of you will. And so we're going to find time for that. But the real key here is we now have to output a site plan. Okay, so this site plan is going to be for us to communicate our two ideas and look at it as it relates to the original design intent, right? So now we're filtering through the catalog, we've picked our two ideas, we're looking at it as a site context, and then we're going to push one forward out into an actual site section. And I think I might actually throw a floor plan in there too, but we'll see how far we get. So to do that, again, this is rapid prototyping, super rapid. It's so easy. All we have to do is turn on, well, there are a couple ways of doing it, but if you turn on this, what you're going to see is that you have surfaces that are kind of solid, right? And we're going to use Make2D in such a way that it gives us a couple of different sets of information. So we're going to do one Make2D that has, well, maybe not. Maybe we'll just do the overall. In fact, we will. So basically, when we're going to use Make2D, we're just going to use the object lines so that we don't see the information that lives beneath the roof of our building. So it's as simple as taking the line work that you have here. Oh, wait, hold on. Do I want layers? I think I do. So Make2D. We got to do this separately. Oh, never mind. Maintain source layers. That's what we want. So, yeah, Make2D, turn off hidden lines. And the one that you want is maintain source layers. And this is really important because then when you take it into AutoCAD, it's actually going to borrow all of the layering properties that you've set up in Rhino. So from that, you hit OK. It processes it, puts it down here, and you pull it off to the side and take a look. So I happen to have, what you're going to see is that in my top view, I don't know why I minimize that, but in my top view you see that you can kind of see my interior line work there. Just erase those. It won't be there when you create thickness. Okay, right now it's just planar. We haven't quite developed anything yet. We're just looking at it as a massing strategy. So those won't be necessary. If you have that condition, you can delete those. So what we want to see here is the exterior envelope of the building. In fact, this one gave me the green line, but it is a, whoops, it is actually a form line, so I'll send it there. You want the envelope of the building. You'll see the setback lines on your site. You'll see the sidewalk lines as a different type, and then the parking lines and all of your grass lines will be green. Okay, so the objective here is, I don't need that. The objective here is to finish up your plan to a point where you can create a roof plan like this. And then we're going to go through the process of exporting it into AutoCAD, and we'll talk about the graphics of such a plan and how it actually relates to your presentation. So, what questions do you have? Not so much more, right? This is the simple part.